How did you hear about chiropractic?
That's actually really interesting because so in Germany, chiropractic is not regulated at all. So you can literally do a weekend course and call yourself a chiropractor. So it's not very popular and not very well known. And I remember I finished my A levels and I really had no idea what to do with my life. So I thought, let's go traveling to Australia. So that's
Oh,
what I did. And
so you grew up in Germany? Y
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up in this small town where we live now with our kids my whole life. And
Oh,
it's southwest of Germany. We had 17 degrees today, so spring is coming. It's called the Tuscany of Germany because you have loads of wine here. It's actually really beautiful.
oh, really?
I have to remember to take a bottle next time we see each other because I know you
Totally.
guys like
We
wine as
totally
well.
love wine, yes.
I really have to remember it. It's actually, yeah, it's very well known for its wine. But anyway, so my grandma went to a chiropractor. She was from northern Germany, and she said to me, "I sent you a newspaper article. I think this could be really good for you." So she sent me this one newspaper article that I read, and I thought, "This sounds really cool. I think I'm just going to apply for it." So I applied in England and in Wales, and I thought England sounded better because it was right by the beach. And then I cut my time short in Australia and pretty much just did a quick stop over in Germany and then went straight to England. And yeah, was never adjusted by a chiropractor. Had never even talked to a chiropractor. I just went after this one article because I just thought it sounded so cool.
Really?
And yes, my youngest sister, a year after me, she started studying chiropractic as well because clearly she thought it was so impressive as well.
Wow, that must have been a pretty good article. We should keep that article around here somewhere. I was like, change your whole life from one article.
Definitely. And I actually found it a few months ago and it really brought back so many emotions. And I just thought, how freaking crazy. One article. And I went to live in another country. I had no friends. I knew nobody. I didn't even speak English that well. Yes. And just shaped my whole life from there on.
That's crazy. Okay, so this is interesting. So, you go to AECC
Yes,
and
exactly.
like, when it my curiosity is when did you actually get your first adjustment?
Actually, from my roommate in our living room, probably like 2 or 3 months into the course, I remember I had like quite headaches and quite bad rib pain, and he was like, "I'm going to adjust you." And I remember my neck went off like a rocket. So every time I'm adjusting a patient for the first time, I know exactly how they feel because I thought somebody just fired a gun next to my ear. That's how it sounded when he adjusted my neck.
And did how was it? Did you like, what did you feel like? How did you feel after your first adjustment? Do you remember?
Pretty light, and I think I slept like a baby afterwards. And I think it actually took until I graduated. No, I got adjusted by, I want to say, proper chiropractors when I was still studying. But I would say from a really skilled chiropractor, I probably got my first adjustment after I graduated. So yeah, a long time until I got a really good adjustment.
I find that so fascinating because we were just recently at Life West and we were doing like a technique adjusting seminar for the students there, and a lot of students had never been to a chiropractor before, and the first adjustment that they got was in the student clinic, and then they kind of like it wasn't that great of an adjustment, and so I thought that would be so interesting going through school where the product that you are going to be offering the world, the only time you've experienced it, like you got a good you got a pretty good adjustment. So you actually felt good after. But I can only imagine if you go through school, like you took your whole life on hold, get tons of debt, and then you don't have that great of an adjustment,
Yeah.
and you go, this is what I'm offering, like when I graduate. Like I think that would be interesting. So, like, how did you keep excited about chiropractic when you hadn't when you still hadn't, experienced it? Were you thinking, "Well, at some point, I'll experience it," or, like, what did you feel about that? How did you feel about that going through school?
That's a really interesting question because I thought about this a lot as well because I'm very different now than I was in college. In college, I would say I was quite the segmental, musculoskeletal chiropractor, thinking about certain segments and muscles and massaging them and whatever. And then when we graduated, we completely changed whatever we did. I don't know. I still just love chiropractic the way it was taught at ACC as well. We did have a really good tutor He did Gonstead classes twice a week, I think. I can't remember anymore. At least I went there once or twice a week, and he was a very big motivator. And we did have a lot of chiropractors speaking to us every now and again. And actually, it was super interesting. I met one of them, and she really inspired me to go into pediatric chiropractic. And I met her at one of your seminars 2 years ago. And I went up to her and I said, "Oh my God, you're one of the reasons why I'm so inspired to adjust kids." And it was super cool because I looked at her and I thought, I somehow remember this lady really well. Who is this? And then I connected the dots and I thought, oh, okay, you are that person.
No way. That's so
Mhm.
cool. That's awesome. Well, it's
I
funny when
think
you run into them later. Yeah.
yes. And I did love neurology. So we did have a lot of not functional neurology, but I loved studying. I always loved learning new things. I think that's really what kept me going. And also I had a really good group of people, my sister, my husband now, and a few other people. And we just had a really great time doing chiropractic and living by the beach and learning new things. It was just really good time, I think.
That's so great. And how did you meet Carl?
Um, this is not very not the coolest story. We met at a party called Pimps and Hookers. So the boys were dressed up as pimps and the girls as hookers.
That is awesome.
We did not think that this night would be the start of the rest of our lives together, but it definitely was. So we met really early on as well. I think I was only 4 months at ACC, and and then we met, and we've been together ever since. Had our third child last year, and we are running a clinic together
Yeah.
usually. So yes,
That's
and we're
crazy.
it's
And
still
was
really
he
nice.
in the same year as you, or was he in a different year? Or
He was a year above me, but
yeah,
he unfortunately had to retake a year, so we actually graduated together, which was pretty good in the
yeah.
end.
Okay. Well, and you know, like me and Brandy met in a bar too, so like it's kind of we're totally
But I'm still so grateful, even though it's so not like spectacular. I'm nothing against dating apps, but I think it was still so nice to have that human connection,
yeah.
an instant spark, to think, oh,
Yes.
cool, I really like this person. I met him, and we're so totally different. We still are. And I think if I had seen him on an app, I would have just not met him because he's so different to me, and which is everything I need. So I'm really, really grateful for that experience still.
That's the same as me and Brandy. I had to wear her down over 4 months after we met her in the bar until she's totally like, you're a white picket fence guy. I am not interested in that right now. And
Mhm.
it's funny. So, but again, I always say the opposites always end up attracting, because if you're the exact same person, then it kind of gets boring if you're the same. You got to kind of keep everything a little bit different, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about when you graduated. Where did you go? Did you go into practice right away, or were you associate, or what did you do right after you graduated? Because you guys both graduated together.
We did, and we went straight to Germany because we thought it's better to learn the language now for Carl. And if we ever decide to go back to England, that's easy for us to do. So we both started in associate jobs, but we had to travel a lot because, again, there are not that many chiropractors here. Like the closest chiropractor to me is like 30 minutes away, which is quite a long drive in Germany. I know not in Canada or America, but in Germany it's quite spread out.
Yes.
So after 2 years being associates, we decided that we wanted to go self-employed because we just hated that traveling in the car because we worked in different clinics as well. And then we start after 2 years after graduating, we started our own clinic in
Two
our home in
years.
my hometown.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
after 2 years.
And how did you decide the hometown? Did you kind of, that was your home base where you wanted to go back to, or what made you guys
We
decide to do that?
we first moved to a bigger city and we both hated it. Carl is the literal description of a country bumpkin. He grew up in a house and there were like three other houses on the road and there was nothing else for 15 kilometers.
Where
So
did
he
he grow up
hated,
in England?
yeah, in England, in the
Yes.
countryside, near
Okay.
to Bristol.
Okay.
And yes, and I didn't like big cities either. We love nature. We like going there in our free time. We love cycling. So that's how we decided to go back to my hometown, which is a small town. And yeah, that's why we set up a clinic here, just because we really felt this is the place where we want to be.
Mhm.